the one, the only Benzion. Good morning and welcome to Yeshiva YouTube. Iyun with Benzion. Today we're doing Maseches Nazir Daf Nun Aleph number 51. The Gemara here talks about this halacha that we touched upon yesterday, Mali Tarvad Rekev. If you have a handful, according to Rabbi Yochanan, we probably paskin like the Rabbanan, you have a whole handful of dust that comes from a corpse, right? And you touch that, that's like touching a corpse. And similarly, if a Nazir touches that, he's megaleach, right? He has to start counting again. He has to shave his head and bring 3 karbanos. So the Gemara here discusses that if you have something mixed in, which is not a decomposition of a dead person, right? For example, his hair, right? You cut off his hair and you buried him with his hair. So when he dies, when he decomposes his body, so the hair is mixed in with the decompositions, therefore it's not matame. Similarly, the Gemara talks about if he's buried in a wooden coffin or he's buried with clothes, the clothes are mixed in with the decomposition. That's not matame. And then the Gemara has a question. The Gemara has many questions over here. The Gemara wants to know about mucus. The Gemara wants to know about excrement. The Gemara wants to know about your skin. Are those things considered mixtures or not? And the word the Gemara uses is gilgulin. The Gemara says if 2 people are buried next to each other, gilgulin. It's gilgulin. It's not matame. Gilgulin is a mixture, admixture, the way the article translates it. It's not really clear. The Rishonim, the article brings the Rishonim, not really clear where this word comes from. Gilgulin. Gilgal is a wheel. Sounds like Gilgul, which is a reincarnation. And then the Gemara has a very interesting question. The Gemara says, let's say you have a decomposition that came primarily from the heel of a person, akev, right? For some reason, the Gemara assumes the akev is not matame, right? And the Gemara wants to know when a person decomposes, is it coming from the heel or not? If it's coming from the heel, it's not going to be matame. If it's not coming from the heel, it's coming from the entire body, then it will be matame. What's going on over here? So I like to say, like I said before, the word gilgulin comes from the word gilgul, reincarnation. This is like a little mystical over here, what I'm saying, but a lot of the Kabbalistic Svarim talk about this. The idea of Tuma, when a person dies, right? A person dies. So when he's alive, he's not Tame. When he dies, a corpse is Tame. Now, the reason a corpse is Tame is because, right, you have the physical goof of a person and you have the metaphysical part of the person. So when the person is living and he has metaphysical, his neshama, let's call that, is healthy because he's living, right? So the neshama is there, so he's Torah. When his physical body dies, there's brain death. I think that's the conception of death. Your whole life is dependent on your bachira chafshas, which is in your brain. So you have brain death. You're dead. So when the whole purpose of burying the person is the metaphysical, but the neshama has nowhere to go. So the neshama, as long as the neshama is there, right? The neshama is with the body in the grave, right? Even though it decomposes, when it decomposes, the neshama is technically still there with the physical body. The reason it's tame is because tame means there's a lack of life. The physical body is not living. So the neshama, the person, is matame because tuma, kedusha of a person is when he's able to do the Torah and mitzvos. And when you're not able to do the Torah and mitzvos because your brain is dead and you can't make bechira, you don't have a choice, you can't make a free choice, so you're dead. So this tuma, right, you transmit tuma, which is bad, because there's death. There's a certain element of death. The neshama never dies, but there's a certain element of death. That's what causes tuma. That's why you're tummy. However, if you mix certain things in, like hair, you cut the person's hair and you mix it in, or the clothes are buried, he's buried in his clothes, which happens to most Masons. So we really know halacha of Mali Tarvad Rekev nowadays. People are buried in burial shrouds. So if that's the case, so gilgulin is considered a mixture. And I think it comes from the word gilgul because, right, oftentimes the way Judaism understands gilgulim is that sometimes the neshama stays with the body or the decomposition of the body, and there's times that it leaves and it goes to another body, another living body. It can go into a rock, it can go into a horse, it can go into the sea. I don't know, it can go into a lot of different things, and neshama goes somewhere else. That's the concept of Gilgul, reincarnation. Until that cycle, until you're free from reincarnation. If you look at Hinduism, they're very into reincarnation. It's part of their basic uh, four pillars of faith. One of them, there's nirvana, which is you're completely released from the cycle of reincarnation, also called moksha or mushka, I think, or something like that. And then you have, the concept of reincarnation is prominent until you nirvana or mushka, when you're free from reincarnation. So the cycle ends. You don't have to be reincarnated. So as long as the neshama is there with a dead body, that's tuma. But if the neshama leaves and goes somewhere else to a different body or something like that, so then that's called a gilgul. That's reincarnation. There's no tuma anymore because there's nothing there, right? A decomposition of flesh without any neshama there is meaningless, right? According to the Torah, right, the neshama, that's the essence of a person, is the neshama, is spiritual, is metaphysical being. If that's not there anymore, there's no discussion of tuma and tara. Tuma and tara is, it's sort of a metaphysical thing. There's no tuma. You can't pin it on something. Even if you carry something in matamayu, you're under an owel in matamayu. It's a spiritual type of concept, tuma and tara. It's not something which is really a physical type. It's not like eating or something like that. It's a spiritual concept, tuma and tara. It depends on your neshama. So once there's something mixed in, right, there's some hair mixed in, so that's usually a sign that it's right. The soul of a person is going to stay in a body as long as it comes from, like we said, on non-alpha base, a full body, and it's a mixture of all the bones and the sinews and the flesh together. So it's a mixture together. Everything is mixed together. So then we can logically say maybe the neshama is still there, so it's matame. However, once you mix hair in or something like that, so it's considered to be probably the neshama left already, as went to a gilgul, went to a reincarnation. Because, right, if the hair is on the person, that's part of the person, but it's not on the person anymore, so it's mixed in, so that's not like a regular human body anymore. It's something mixed in. It's not a regular human body, so you assume gilgulin, the neshama left, therefore it's tahor. That's why the Gemara has a discussion, derech akev, right, the akev. Did the decomposition come entirely from the heel? Why the heel? The Rush explains that there's a lot of dead flesh in the heel, but I would say a different shot. People talk about the Achilles heel, right? Achilles heel is, obviously comes from Greek mythology. There was a person named Achilles who was invincible except when you shot him in his heel. That was the Achilles heel. But, Achilles heel is really, it's really a true concept. The seat of the neshama is really, the Yetzer Hara is really in your heel. That's where the Yetzer Hara is in your heel, the Akev. So if it comes derech Akev, right, that's a sign where the Yetzer Hara has completely taken over your neshama. And therefore, if the decomposition is completely from the Akev, we can figure that out. Somehow you could figure that out. So then that's the Gemara's question. Then for sure the neshama is not going to be there. The Yetzer Hara took over and it extricated the neshama. The neshama is not going to be there with the Yetzer Hara, and therefore that's why gilgulin is considered. There's no tumah anymore. It's tahor. There's no tumah because the neshama is gone. It went into a reincarnation. It's very complicated stuff. I'm saying stuff that I don't really understand 100% because I didn't really die, so I don't know what this is like. But this is my conjecture based on the concept of the word gilgulin, my basic knowledge of gilgul, reincarnation. I hope you enjoyed today's share. See you in the next one.